Can you imagine that in a distant past there were demon hunters who stood as humanity's last line of defense? But that's not all. After witnessing how their father, the father of two boys, is slain in battle, these two set out for revenge, and they won't stop until they achieve it. Well, to enter this world, let me tell you, more than 100 years ago, Lord Nara led the demon army to invade the celestial realm, igniting the war between gods and demons. However, the guardians of the altar of the seven heavens were in charge and succeeded in annihilating the demon lord. The war took a turn when the god of war was slain by a traitor from the celestial realm. At his death, his soul split into 72 pieces, scattered across the lower realm, leading to the demon king's victory. As a final desperate act, another master named Shuja exhausted all his power to seal both the divine map and the demon lord. This threw the 6 realms into chaos. The only way to restore balance is to break the seal, something that can only be done with the power of the god of war. Meanwhile, 2 children try to stay safe in the middle of a fight between a man and what appears to be a powerful ogre. The clash escalates quickly and the children are caught in it, for the man fighting is their father. The boy wants to help, but his weakness only gets in the way. The man quickly gets him to safety and resumes the battle. His weapon breaks, but he uses magic to bury the ogre underground, knowing it will only buy them some time. He decides to retreat, determined to keep his children safe. He tells them that monster is called Azura, a being that kills demon hunters, and it won't be easy to defeat. To protect them, he takes them deep into a hidden temple. There, 2 swords are concealed. He asks his eldest son, Yuanzhen, to take one. As they are removed, a great power is released and the place begins to change. A small wooden box appears before them, and the father tells him to guard it. He must give it to his brother Kachan when he becomes an adult. He also leaves them the 2 swords, weapons passed down by demon hunters. He has trained him since childhood to become the master of twin blades. He believes he will be the greatest demon hunter. It doesn't take long before Azura breaks free, so they press on. The tunnel is filled with seals meant to keep demons out. At last, they reach their destination, the spiritual house of the demon hunters. Unfortunately, the seals fail to keep Azura at bay, and he attacks by surprise. But he's come to the wrong place to fight. Using the defenses of the stronghold, they manage to seal him and throw him into the lava. With the enemy defeated, the father lets his guard down and is gravely wounded by a female-shaped demon. His overconfidence cost him the fight, but he won't die doing nothing in front of his children. He uses his last strength to send them far away. The demon tries to stop them, but fails. The 2 children escape. Years later, we see Yuan, now grown, acting as a father figure to his younger brother. They dedicate their lives to helping others and exposing frauds who pretend to be demon hunters. They disguise themselves as monsters, capture the fakes, and interrogate them. This time, they uncover a monk swindling people out of their money. He confesses he's aided by the tiger demon, who seeks to cause havoc in the absence of real hunters. Still, he claims to be low-ranking and not much of a threat. Annoyed by his words, they beat him and leave him tied up. At dawn, Yuan stands before their ancestors to graduate his brother as a hunter. He's just turned 14. Though it's only the 2 of them, the ceremony is performed perfectly. Officially, his brother is now a hunter. The boy doubts he's ready, but Yuan believes in him completely, so he gives him the gift their father left before dying. Inside, there's only a small metal tube, which disappoints Kachan, who expected something more impressive. Yuan doesn't know what it is either, but remembers his father said that for some reason, it was his destiny. An old man arrives at the temple asking for help. Lai City has been covered by a strange fog. People blame a cat demon. Yuan refuses the request, as his brother's ceremony hasn't ended. After all, he must become a real adult. Though it sounds intense, it's only about attending martial arts classes with several masters. The boy's innocence will remain a while longer. Without delay, they head off to find the teachers. But the old man drops a bag containing a bell. This object triggers Yuan's memories of the day their father was killed. He rushes toward Lai. He wants answers. As they go deeper, the fog thickens. It's dangerous to split up, but that's exactly what happens. The cat demon appears before Yuan. He demands she explain the bell's origin and leave the town. Naturally, she responds with violence. The fog gives her the advantage, and the fight turns in her favor. To balance the fight, Yuan uses a technique that disperses the mist, exposing his foe. She tries to talk him down, but Yuan only wants to know the bell's origin. She says she simply found it and doesn't know its story. Disappointed, Yuan decides to keep investigating. The demon tries to strike him from behind, but there won't be another chance. Yuan ends her life. Meanwhile, Kachan faces the demon's brother. He has no weapon, putting him at a disadvantage, but he doesn't give up. From afar, Yuan watches. This is his brother's final test. His only weapon is a piece of wood from the ground, but it's enough to gain the upper hand. Enraged, the demon attacks with everything he's got. His blows are fast and impossible to dodge. Kachan's life is at risk. At that moment, his father's gift activates. A powerful weapon forms in his hand. He hurls it at the enemy, unleashing a wave of energy that reaches other realms. Now everyone knows a great power has awakened. After the attack, Kachan loses consciousness. The demon, still alive, tries to escape, but Yuan stops him and asks where he got the bell. The cat confesses that Sumire gave it to them, promising that as long as they rang, those two would appear. For some reason, the sound hypnotizes him, letting Yuan extract more information. The demon keeps repeating, "Kill the demon subjugator and take the soul fragment." Moments later, the bell enters his mouth and makes him explode. In the distance, two unknown figures had been watching. They now move into action. Our protagonists are safe. Yuan congratulates his brother, who fought bravely and won. He is now ready and wields his father's special weapon. Though everything seems fine, Yuan is still haunted by the soul fragment. The staff returns to its original size, and they don't know how to use it anymore. Just then, the two unknown figures arrive. They confirm they've finally found what they were looking for, Kachan's weapon. It seems the fight is far from over. Unfortunately, Yuan was injured by the previous explosion. The strangers seize the opportunity and demand they hand over the weapon. They try to resist, but in their condition, fighting is futile. Surprisingly, despite having everything against them, the brothers refuse to hand over the object and choose to fight. Luckily, one of the strangers steps in and clarifies that they have no ill intentions. To prove it, he heals Yuan, calming the tension and allowing for a civil conversation. The girl explains that she only wants what belongs to them, as Shenzhen iron is rightfully theirs, a weapon once wielded by the god of war. The strangers introduce themselves as envoys from the fairy clan, Saro and Ju. Once introductions are done and tempers ease, they explain that the god of war was killed 100 years ago. Their mission is to find the 72 fragments of his soul and resurrect him. Only then can the seal of the virtual space be unlocked. The key to locating one of those fragments is Kachan's weapon. As, being a divine object, it can sense their presence. This makes sense of the cat's final words, which hinted at something similar before dying. That object might be their only chance of finding Sumire, which is why Kachan refuses to give it up. Saro explains that when used, the weapon emits a pulse that can be sensed throughout the 7 realms. It's only a matter of time before the demons begin hunting them. Yuan still doesn't trust them, prompting Ju to warn that if the deity isn't resurrected and the seal isn't opened in time, the world will descend into chaos. If the demons break the seal first, their army will be unleashed and all will be lost. Kachan agrees to cooperate. After all, he dreams of a better world. He places his trust in them and hands over the gift his father left him. Yuan trusts his brother, so he supports his decision. He knows giving up the weapon lowers their chances of finding their enemy, but at least his brother will be safe. Just as they're about to leave, Ju halts them, claiming they've handed over a copy to deceive her. But when Kachan touches it, the weapon regains its power, proving only he can wield it. Saro explains that Shenzhen hasn't been used for 100 years, so only a pure heart can awaken it. Kachan is now its rightful owner. They don't just need the weapon, they need the boy. Of course, there is another way: kill the current wielder. Yuan wonders if this is what his father meant when he said the weapon was Kachan's destiny. With no other choice, they agree to join and aid their new allies. With the help of his brother's powers, Yuan will search for the soul fragment. Meanwhile, the demons prepare to act. They know the protagonists are on the move. To fulfill their plan, they force a woman to do the dirty work, or her sister will pay the price. The next morning, arguments continue. Ju is irritated by the brothers' lack of manners, and Yuan doesn't hold back, criticizing the young woman's appearance, which only fuels her fury. Just then, the woman from before, apparently wounded, collapses in the middle of the road, forcing their vehicle to make an emergency stop. Yuan sees her from a distance and, without hesitation, rushes to help. To sell the lie, she faints in his arms. He quickly brings her to the vehicle, but Ju blocks the way. Letting a stranger in is a bad idea. Though annoyed, she insists that something doesn't feel right. Yuan continues to push, clearly interested in the woman. After helping her, he continues offering support, which irritates Ju even more. She demands the girl leave. Saro watches silently, simply asking how she got hurt. She claims she had the misfortune of running into bandits. She tried to escape but was wounded. In the end, she hid until she found them. Yuan takes it personally. He's fallen for her and vows revenge on those who harmed her. The woman asks for their help, reaching the dark canyon. She fears facing the bandits again alone. Yuan sees this as fate, since that was their intended destination anyway. He tells her everything, his entire plan to gather the fragments of the god of war's soul, to a complete stranger. For obvious reasons, Ju, perhaps the only one with any sense, scolds them. This information is perfect for the woman, who is merely waiting for the right moment to act. Saro suggests they rest and head for the canyon the next day. Once alone, the brothers ask her name, Ziying. That night, while they sleep, the woman attempts to steal the weapon. Unfortunately for her, Saro walks in pretending he's in the wrong room, though it's clear he suspects her. By morning, another argument erupts, as expected. When they ask for Ziying, they're told she vanished without a word. To make matters worse, Shenzhen is gone too, unsurprisingly to Saro. Ziying meets the captors holding her sister hostage. They recognize her as the world's greatest thief, Miss Purple. They had tasked her with finding the Shenzhen. But since it vanished 100 years ago, even she believed it was a myth. The demon confirms the weapon is real. It had only been dormant, but now its power has resurfaced, because the one who wields it is a fragment of the God of War's soul. Such a powerful object could obliterate everything around it. She can't even imagine what Shenzhen looks like, said to be the most powerful weapon in the stellar realm. If she manages to obtain both, all demons on Earth will obey her. Resistance is pointless. Obedience might at least keep her alive. Her sister begs her not to do it, reminding her of her promise to never steal again, but it's the only way to save her. Even so, Ziying warns, if they harm her sister, she'll destroy them, even if it costs her life. The demon promises the sister will be fine, though he hints that if she's late, the girl will suffer. Ju scolds Yuan for saving a liar who even stole Shenzhen. She calls him a fool for falling for her. Upon reaching their destination, Saro says both the thief and the weapon are near. They can sense Shenzhen's signal. Yuan is immediately eager to go after them. Ziying and the demon make the exchange. Shenzhen for her sister. Xian apologizes for venturing alone into the valley, but Ziying assures her it doesn't matter, as long as she's safe. They try to leave, but the demons block them. Only the sister goes. Ziying attacks and reclaims the weapon. They flee, but Xian falls. She tells her sister to go on, but Ziying refuses to leave her. The demons close in. One attacks and Ziying shields her sister. She faces the larger demon while the other wounds Xian. Ziying notices and uses her power to repel him. The demon launches an attack, Rock, which hits her, leaving her on the ground. Xian rushes to check on her, but the demon traps them in a divine barrier. No escape. Outside the cave, Saro warns the path to the weapon is difficult. Yuan suggests splitting up. Yuan and Kachan manage to locate the weapon and Ziying. Xian pleads with the demon not to hurt her sister, promising obedience. Kachan wants to intervene, but Yuan says it's not time. The demon raises the barrier and tries to touch Xian, but Ziying strikes first. He retaliates, and Xian jumps in to protect her sister, taking the blow. At that moment, Yuan, Kachan, Saro, and Zhu arrive. Zhu immediately attacks Ziying, demanding the weapon back. Yuan deflects the strike. Zhu questions why they're protecting her. They see the demons activating a shield, and one summons his army. They're completely surrounded. Saro unleashes a divine tornado that blows the demons out of the cave. One demon tries to strike the sisters and Kachan, but Yuan intercepts. Saro follows with a celestial bolt, immobilizing the demon as Kachan and Yuan carry the sisters to safety. Saro and Zhu stay behind to fight the demon. Saro warns, no attack should be underestimated. This demon holds the god's soul fragment. The demon boasts that as long as the rock protects him, their strikes are useless. But once exposed, Saro and Zhu hit him in tandem. Zhu asks if that truly is the Almighty's soul. Saro nods. Outside, Yuan realizes Xian is still breathing. She can be saved. Suddenly, the demon returns and attacks. Kachan stops him. A brutal battle begins. Both brothers are injured. The demon traps Yuan in a shield and petrifies him. Yuan, unfazed, tells Kachan not to worry. The demon hurls Kachan away, leaving him battered and lost in doubt. But Yuan's words echo. He's grown, and he will become the greatest demon hunter. That awakens the golden staff. Kachan grabs it and breaks the shield, but the demon strikes again, gravely wounding him. He tries to steal the staff, but it shrinks in his hand. Yuan seizes the moment and cuts off his arm. The demon, shocked, asks if Yuan is a descendant of the dual-blade hunter. Yuan throws the question back. Where is that person? Before he can reply, the demon hears a sound and dies. Later, Ziying asks for her sister. Saro gives grim news. The wound exceeds immortal healing, but he offers a choice. Seal her sister's primordial spirit, sacrificing her body. Ziying agrees instantly. Saro seals her inside his ring. Kachan still wonders why the staff chose him, someone so weak. His brother reminds him he was the one who saved everyone. Their journey continues as they reach a scorching city. Kachan develops a fever, his spirit overloaded by the dual souls in the staff. They enter a clothing store where the vendor mocks the girls' bodies. Ju is furious, but the vendor recognizes her and activates a mechanism that transforms the shop. Ju asks for senzu beans. He nods, and she gives them to Kachan. The vendor explains the beansies' magical overload. Ju asks why it's so hot. He explains, 100 years ago, during the war between gods and demons, a flaming meteor fell into the industrial furnace, constantly increasing the heat. Saro says it will eventually cool, but the vendor disagrees. The city depends on the furnace. The current ruler is Fire Evil Cloud, a high-ranking demon who controls fire. Everyone must obey him. Saro asks Kachan to twirl the staff, and they see the meteorite react. Zhu warns Yuan. What lies ahead will be unlike anything they've faced, but Yuan is resolute. They arrive at Flame Nest, where they discover the governor on the top floor, surrounded by demons. Suddenly, Yuan crashes through the wall, facing a demonic army. Feverish, Kachan has a vision of a god battling others. The demons tempt him with demonic power, claiming he's useless without it. He refuses. The staff speaks. It will fuse with him. He awakens. The staff falls. Ziying repairs it with near unbreakable silver thread. After defeating the demons, they reach a portrait hall and face the governor. Yuan attacks, but the demon's fire responds. He's waited long for this moment. He notes Yuan's blades resist triple skin fire. Saro pulls Yuan back and warns the governor. His fire can trigger the meteorite's energy at any time. If he gives up his soul, they could cool it forever. But the governor refuses. Instead, he proposes a blood pact. Donate blood, since they are greater immortals. Thirsting for vengeance, the demon prepares to activate the forbidden firebite technique to destroy the immortal palace. Zhu attacks, but the demon uses a fiery whip, overheating her weapon and stealing it. Yuan declares he'll defeat him and orders Saro and Zhu to visit the Earth Elder. He leaves. The furnace revives and incinerates the city. Yuan battles the fire demon, striking with might. The demon retaliates, but Saro conjures an ice wall. Still, the demon wounds him. With Saro's blood, the demon draws a symbol to activate the spell. Zhu and Saro realize fire meteors will fall again, and they do. Kachan saves a girl. Ziying shields them from falling debris. After the meteor storm, a quake shakes the city. Saro and Zhu seek to control the energy. The vendor tells them the only way is to steal the furnace core. Ziying decides to do it herself. She infiltrates the control room, knocking out 2 voyeurs. She threatens the secretary, who says the key is to her left, but she attacks, only to be stopped by Ziying's ring. The fire demon strikes again, collapsing the building. Zhu and Saro fight him to buy time. Ziying strangles the secretary, gets the elevator key, but is warned. If she succeeds, she'll never escape alive. She enters and activates a sensor, releasing a robot. As the demon destroys the city, he remembers his beloved. They once watched the news. War was coming. She feared the worst, but he swore the celestial realm would protect them. Then a meteor fell. Zhu and Saro continue fighting. Kachan arrives and tells the demon, people are suffering, just like 100 years ago. The demon insists things were more beautiful then. His friends were hypocrites. Saro reveals the truth. The demon tried to destroy the immortal palace with the meteor, but a divine barrier diverted it to the lower realm. Kachan is stunned. The demon, furious, attacks. Kachan defends. The demon tells him he's on the wrong side. Kachan replies, abandon vengeance, use your power to save the city. This only enrages the demon further. He transforms, swearing to kill them all, and offer their souls to his dead wife. Ziying defeats the robot and tries to seize the core, but it is unbearably cold and radiates energy. Sensing the energy, the demon attacks, but Kachan blocks him with the staff. The demon flees. Kachan gives chase after receiving magical power from Saro. The demon reaches Ziying's location and finds that someone else has taken the core. A battle ensues, and the demon suffers a critical blow that forces him out of his transformed state. His soul is captured in a box, but the meteorite is already falling. Kachan destroys the box and absorbs the demon's life essence. The demon retaliates, but Ziying drives him away. She tries to wield the staff, but it tears her arm off, forcing the demon to retreat. Everyone watches the meteorite descend. The demon declares that the core must be destroyed to stop it, and they succeed. The governor apologizes to his wife for not keeping his promise, but she tells him that protecting the city was enough. The next day, they set off toward the village of the Stinky River. The ship suffers a power failure and Saro goes to investigate. Kachan and Yuan go with him. The white dragon power crystal is broken, but a replacement lies in a nearby mine. Yuan offers to retrieve it, but Saro insists on going alone. Yuan argues, and Zhu yells that he doesn't understand what Saro has been through. Saro reaches the mine and recalls his old crew. He's been here before. At the entrance, they find blood, but no bodies. Saro detects vital signs and they go down. They face undead creatures. One crew member is wounded and they take shelter in a chamber. A portal activates and the undead vanish. A monster appears and kills Afu. Zhu narrates what happened. A screen displays the team's vital signs. When Saro retrieves the crystal, it triggers a sacrificial formation linked to the demon realm. A beast materializes. Saro fights it and is struck down with devastating force. In his unconscious state, he reunites with his fallen crew. They urge him to return and uncover the truth. Saro awakens and sees everyone fighting the beast. He prepares to sacrifice himself, but Kachan activates his shield and opens a tunnel, allowing sunlight to pour in and disintegrate the creature. Saro vows to protect his friends with his own strength, until the day they meet again. They arrive at the Shaming River, mesmerized by its beauty. Saro tells them the river grants wishes. Ziying notes it should be full of people, but Ju explains that since the mine incident, the fairy kingdom withdrew and demons now lurk nearby. Yuan enters the river, and Kachan notices his wounds healing. They sense a presence. Yuan approaches, but the stranger doesn't respond. Yuan asks if he knows Qi Tian. His scar was made by twin swords belonging to the greatest demon hunter. He challenges the man to a duel. Ju intervenes, warning him not to pick a fight without knowing who he's facing. The stranger replies with a powerful strike. Ziying calls out his name, Phantom Impermanence. She pleads for them not to fight. Yuan is injured, and they came here to heal him. He agrees. Yuan will recover by midday, and they will fight at dawn. Back on the ship, Ziying tells the tale of Phantom Impermanence. He embedded his spirit into his sword, enraging the Demon King. But the Phantom killed him and the entire elite guard, becoming the strongest swordsman of the Demon Clan. Yuan says he's not invincible. Qi Tian once defeated him. Yuan is determined to win, because he carries that same blood. While Yuan rests in the river, Ziying approaches from behind, startling him. Yuan says each scar is a medal. He adds that his brother has grown and no longer needs his protection. But Ziying replies that his brother is just afraid of losing him, just as she and her sister lost their father. She reveals she once stole just to survive, only wanting to protect her sister. But in the end, her sister died because of her. Dawn comes, and Yuan is fully healed. Saro gives him sharp magic to enhance his agility. Yuan bids his brother farewell, telling him that when he meets someone 100 times stronger, he must use 1,000 times more courage. The battle begins. Yuan is swift and agile, but the Phantom wounds his side. Flashbacks show Yuan being trained by his father. He gradually improves, and his father is pleased. The Phantom unleashes the legendary Phantom swordsmanship, striking with immense power to break Yuan's armor. Ziying explains the armor disperses impacts, but if struck repeatedly in the same spot, it will fail. The Phantom declares he can defeat Yuan. Yuan admits the Phantom is too strong to be beaten. We see Yuan once battling a bear. Bloodied, he activates the sword's power and charges to kill it, but his father stops him with a blow to the head. Later, his father explains, sacrificing blood to feed the sword awakens the demon within. Only one can prevail. The loser will return to nothing. Yuan cuts himself to trigger blood sacrifice. He becomes faster, stronger, sharper. This reminds the Phantom of his battle with Qi Tian. The memory of his final move still lingers. With blazing red eyes, Yuan charges the Phantom but suddenly turns on Ju. From his view, everyone appears as demons. Saro freezes him, but Yuan breaks free. The Phantom drives his sword through Yuan's left shoulder, and he collapses. In his unconscious state, he sees Qi Tian and his father in a famine-stricken village. Demons arrive to devour the people, but Qi Tian slaughters them. Then he enters a cave, where crying demon children hide. An old demon begs him to spare them. They are innocent. Qi Tian asks Yuan Xin what they truly hold in their hands. He replies, to save people and slay demons. Qi Tian drops his swords, saying he can't save them all. This cycle won't end. He walks west. Later, Yuan's father leads a group to a cave. An old man appears and hands him the swords, saying, leave the future to your child. He is our only hope. Yuan awakens on the battlefield. The Phantom pulls his sword from Yuan's body, saying that next time, he won't hold back. He owes him a proper duel. Kachan rushes to embrace his brother. Yuan says he dreamed of becoming the greatest demon hunter. Later, they wonder about the secret behind the twin swords. So much remains unknown. Ju says the best place to find answers is Fengkun. Saro adds, Fengkun is the only city of deities in the lower realm, with unmatched technology and quality of life. We see young Master Tianyu bored by his 999th fiancé until number 1000 arrives. He's impressed until she removes her veil, revealing she's not entirely a woman. He runs off. Later, Tianyu confides in his uncle Yu that there is one girl in his heart. He describes her. It's Ju. He recalls the promise. She would come to him and become his bride. But why hasn't she come yet? On their way to Fengkun, Ju seems troubled. Saro asks if she doesn't want to go. Ju replies that maybe the governor never heard about the demon, and reviving Ziying might be in vain. Just then, Kachan bursts in, showing that the staff is reacting. Everyone is excited, but Ju looks displeased. They arrive at the city and pass the security checks. An announcement states the young master will marry in 3 days, and the festival begins immediately. Ju is irritated and heads to the ceremony. Along the way, she questions a woman about the bride. Guards arrive and invite them to the palace. The young master has prepared a banquet in their honor. Everyone eats except Ju, who has no appetite. They finally meet the young master, who reveals the bride is Ju. He had registered her information to automatically trigger the festival upon her arrival. Everyone is shocked. He asks if she forgot their promise. We see the flashback. Boys bullying Tianyu, and Ju stepping in to protect him. He promised to buy her all the peach ice cream she wanted. They made a promise. Ju explains things weren't as he believed. She was behind the bullies. It was all to get free food and sweets. Her idea. The young master says it doesn't matter. He gave her his heart, and now the promise has been fulfilled. Suddenly, the staff pulses again. Ju decides to wait until the wedding to confront Emperor Chongyan. The butler shows them their rooms, but Yuan says they want to explore the city. They gather to talk. Ziying asks if Ju will marry. They say no. Ju remembers the promise but brushes it off. She plans to escape. In another room, Tianyu says he won't let her go this time. Yuan and Ziying see a beautiful woman. Ziying says a thief has marked her. The thief steals her necklace, but Yuan stops him. The thief then puts the necklace on Yuan. The woman accuses Yuan of stealing it. Guards detain him, until Ziying reveals they are guests of Master Tianyu. But when the guard checks their records, he declares them illegal immigrants. The chase begins. Saro and Kachan search for the soul fragment. The staff points outside the city, but the signal flickers. When they return, the city is sealed by a barrier, no one in or out. An old man appears saying his sick daughter awaits him. He begs to enter. Kachan pleads with the guards, but they refuse. The order comes from the young master. The old man speaks of a secret tunnel. As a child, he found a strange entrance. He leads them to it. The structure looks too new for an old tunnel, making Saro suspicious. They encounter a divine clan barrier. Saro, being a fairy, passes through and deactivates it with his blood. They press on fearfully, but unharmed. Exiting the tunnel, they arrive at a bar. Saro uses Kachan as a distraction, pretending it's a show. The old man vanishes. A woman alerts the others they must flee. Their faces are posted across the city as illegal immigrants. Strangest of all, the old man doesn't appear on any recordings. Saro suspects it was all a setup. Meanwhile, Ju prepares for the wedding. She doesn't look happy. She tells herself it's all a ploy to buy time. The butler takes her for wedding photos. She looks miserable and refuses to kiss him. When he insists, Ju punches him. She demands to know why he wants to marry her, knowing she lied. He reveals that, as a boy, he staged a fake fight, paying 4 boys to beat him up. In front of everyone, they did. And as he'd hoped, Ju jumped in to defend him. His plan worked. Ju grows even more furious upon learning she had been manipulated. Tianyu claims his mission is to protect the city, which depends on the barrier. He waited for her, and now they're together. Ju makes it clear she did not return because of their engagement, but for the fragments. Her mission is to break the seal of the Western Heavens. Tianyu admits his mistake. He turns and embraces her, managing to create a moment that feels genuine. A photo of them is published. The city rejoices. Kachan becomes uneasy, noticing Ju displays affection in the pictures. Saro reflects. They entered the city seeking the fragment, yet it guided them out and vanished. Then, the city was sealed. Something terrible is about to happen. Yuan and Ziying, still fleeing, don't understand why they're being hunted. Tianyu has laid a trap, and Ju is in danger. Her mind is being controlled by the fragment. In disguise, Yuan and Ziying see the wedding announcement. Ziying steals the invitations by winning the trust of 2 men arguing over who would invite her. By the time they realize they've been robbed, it's too late. Their next step is to sneak in without drawing suspicion, making sure their weapons remain unnoticed. Kachan claims he'll pose as a professional swordsman, one who has slain over 100 demons as a pre-wedding celebration. At the same time, Kachan and Saro are captured and taken to the dungeon. Saro tries to explain he's Ju's personal medic, and that she suffers from a strange illness needing urgent treatment. If she falls ill, the wedding could be ruined entirely. One of the guards checks surveillance footage of their entry and confirms they are indeed Ju's friends. Meanwhile, the ceremony proceeds smoothly, and no one notices the young woman is under mental manipulation. The prince is informed about the recent capture of Ju's friends and orders that she be taken immediately to her chamber. In the cell, Kachan is relieved to see his weapon is still with them, and Saro is convinced the fragment they're seeking lies within the city. Their conversation is interrupted by Tianyu, who confronts them, demanding to know why they've returned after being given the chance to leave. He makes it clear they will never see Ju again, for she'll be his wife in just a few hours. Kachan replies that's a lie. They're only here for the fragment. Saro, in turn, says he will respect their friend's decision, but he must see her with his own eyes. Tianyu refuses. He then reveals the fragment fragment before them, prompting Kachan to attack, but the enemy easily overpowers him. Saro tries to step in but is struck and hypnotized with the use of a magical device. Tianyu then focuses on Kachan, traps him with his power, and attempts to control his mind. However, during the absorption, a voice interrupts the process. Kachan's power surges suddenly, and he becomes the one draining energy from his enemy. A voice echoes, "That mortal's body already has an owner." The vision leaves Tianyu shaken. He nearly loses control of his very soul. Fearing something worse, he decides to leave the boy alone and departs, though not before ordering Saro to attack. Thus begins a battle between two friends. Despite everything, Saro doesn't respond. With no other option, Kachan strikes him until he's unconscious. The pressure on the boy is overwhelming. He's alone, lost, blaming himself for his weakness. As he drowns in guilt, a voice speaks to him, asking what he's truly afraid of. Suddenly, he finds himself in another place, the realm of his own consciousness, which also serves as the prison for his power. Kachan's strength is immense, so much so that the weapon he carries acts as a seal, binding both him and his essence. The voice asks if he's forgotten who he truly is, but Kachan denies it. He will never be a monster. He doesn't care who he used to be, now he is a demon hunter. He attacks the shadow, causing himself to plummet into the void. Fortunately, he wakes up in time. Still not fully understanding what's happening, he puts his plan into motion. He cries for help, claiming his friend is dying and a curse is about to explode, threatening to destroy the entire prison. The guard falls for the trick. Kachan knocks him unconscious and escapes, promising Saro he'll return for him. The problem is that, though he's out of the cell, the prison is a labyrinth. While searching, a man in another cell offers help in exchange for his freedom. He says this is his city, and he is Emperor Chongyan. He was imprisoned in a trap set by his own son, who usurped power by lying to the people, claiming the emperor was in seclusion, when in truth he was locked away. Chongyan also recognizes Kachan's weapon, lending credibility to the young warrior's story. Meanwhile, Tianyu continues his plan of usurpation while keeping Ju under his control. Kachan, using his weapon, breaks the locks and fully frees Chongyan. He explains that he and his companions, alongside two immortals, are demon hunters gathering fragments of warrior spirits. He pleads for help, as the Emperor's son has taken one of their friends hostage. The Emperor agrees. It's time his son faced justice. Guided by Chongyan, they sneak through the palace undetected, reaching the wedding venue. But they're discovered, and one of the guards recognizes Kachan. They also find Chongyan, but Yuan and Ziying arrive just in time to save them. After reuniting, Kachan introduces them to the master they've been seeking, Emperor Chongyan. They hadn't found him earlier because his own son had imprisoned him. Regarding Saro, Kachan explains his mind has been washed with dark magic. This could also explain why Ju agreed to marry Tianyu. The Emperor confirms it's the effect of a mind control spell bound to the fragments. Yuan shows his weapons and asks if the Emperor recognizes them. Chongyan confirms they are slaying twice, forged from dark steel, proving his identity. Ziying remains uneasy. She senses something is still wrong. Now disguised, they enter the wedding pretending to be guests. Finally, the event begins, and the entire kingdom watches. The butler welcomes the attendees as the heroes blend into the crowd. Their plan is clear: rescue Ju and stop Tianyu. They must also save Saro, but Kachan realizes he's already part of the ceremony, likely as part of the prince's scheme. Still, having everyone in one place makes the mission easier. The Emperor explains he can't give direct orders. Tianyu has used magic to control the army. The only alternative is to challenge him to a duel. By tradition, he must accept. First, they'll reveal the Emperor's identity to sow confusion and seize the moment to save their friends. Tianyu appears alongside Ju to begin the marriage. As the butler reads the vows, Yuan interrupts the ceremony, declaring that Ju does not wish to marry him and challenging him to combat. The guests whisper that Yuan is there to steal the young prince's bride, but Yuan insists this is a duel of honor. By tradition, it must be accepted. The duel begins. The crowd is thrilled. Yuan is portrayed as a madman in love, while Tianyu is the confident prince, backed by the power of love. Most bet on the prince. After all, Yuan is just a human. As they battle, the others execute their part of the plan. Ziying tries to reason with Saro, but he doesn't respond. She even hits him, trying to snap him out of it, but it's useless. The prince notices and commands him to fight. The situation escalates quickly. Fortunately, Yuan proves strong. Any slight distraction from the prince could cost him the match. Tianyu can't understand how a mere mortal can match him, but now he gets serious. His weapon's speed and range increase, placing Yuan at a disadvantage. Kachan tries to speak with Ju, but the Emperor explains she can no longer hear him. Under the spell, she's become a walking corpse. Yuan is in danger. The prince's weapon causes status effects and begins to freeze him. If they don't act fast, his blood will turn to ice, but they must trust him. The fight continues, both opponents growing increasingly enraged by each other's resilience. Despite everything, Yuan is still at a disadvantage. His body keeps freezing. Victory seems impossible. The crowd cheers what they think is Tianyu's win, but Yuan won't give up. He'll show what humans are capable of when they break their limits. The ice melts from his body and the fight evens out. Fire and ice, the two most powerful elements, clash in the most epic of battles. The duel transcends the limits of humanity, tearing apart much of the stage. When the smoke clears, both fighters are exhausted, unable to continue. Kachan seizes the moment and reveals to all that Tianyu is a fraud. He declares that the prince imprisoned the emperor to usurp the throne and manipulated the people with dark magic. Chongyan steps forward, confirming everything. His son has committed treason, even forcing Ju to marry him with sorcery. He orders the soldiers to arrest the traitor. Cornered, Tianyu lies, claiming his father is possessed by demons. But no one believes him. He chooses to face them all, freezing the crowd. Only Yuan remains standing, resisting the weapon's power. Tianyu begs him to stop. They must think of the kingdom's safety. Yuan knows the only way to ensure that is to kill him, but to his shock, the emperor rises, releasing a dark energy. From it emerges the one person Yuan hates most. It turns out that to protect the fragment Tianyu carries, the emperor sealed a demon inside his own body. But the entity had only pretended to be imprisoned. It was the emperor himself who had ordered his son to lock him deep within the dungeons. Though he warned that using his own body as a seal was dangerous, he did it to protect his people through a magical barrier. That was the real reason for his confinement. And now, Yuan burns with fury, because that woman is the one who killed his father. Blinded by rage, Yuan attacks immediately, but the woman uses Kachan as a shield. She controls him like a puppet, manipulating him with dark threads that make it nearly impossible for Yuan to fight. Fortunately, Tianyu is also against this enemy and is willing to help, but the woman warns him his opponent will be someone else. In the battle arena, the old man who helped them enter awaits. His body begins to change, revealing himself as Azura, the demon Yuan's father once faced years ago. With a single blow, he sends the young warriors flying. If they want to survive, they'll have to fight together. Kachan can only watch, still trapped under the enemy's mental control. Unable to break free, he becomes a helpless spectator. The monster faces the two warriors, who strike with everything they have, but their weapons can't harm it. To turn the tide, the prince fuses the soul fragment into his weapon. Its power surges, and at last, they manage to wound the demon. There is hope for victory, but everything changes when Azura attacks Ju. He lunges like a beast, and Tianyu, moving with lightning speed, throws himself between them. He manages to injure the enemy, but receives a devastating wound himself. Yuan seizes the moment and finishes the job. Azura is defeated, at last. Mortally wounded, the prince apologizes to Ju. He only wanted to protect her, though he admits that keeping her by force was a mistake. With tears in his eyes, he confesses he truly wanted her to be his bride, but he won't live to see that future. He gives her the soul fragment to protect her in his place. Tianyu dies in front of the woman he loved. Realizing the danger, Yuan urges her to take the fragment before someone else claims it. But it's already too late. The woman, using her staff's power, draws the fragment to herself and takes it. Blinded by rage, Ju tries to attack her. But with Kachan still under control, the demon easily shields herself. One by one, Yuan's friends have fallen. The battle seems lost, but he won't give up so easily. Without wasting a second, he forms a blood pact with his sword. A new power awakens within him. The woman uses Azura's remains to strike by surprise, but she fails to stop him. Despite his growing strength, Yuan must hold on to his sanity. His weapon's power is immense, but dangerous. The woman sees this weakness and tries to break his spirit. She plunges him into a vision of the day his father died, but the plan backfires. In the vision, his father manages to reach him. He tells him to trust himself, that one day he'll become the greatest demon hunter of all. Though not that one. That's from another anime. Yuan then sees the first wielder of the twin blades, Guardián. He reveals that these weapons hold the power to slay even gods. But the true strength does not lie in the sword. It lies in the soul of the one who wields it. Faith in oneself. The will to protect those you love. That is the true power of the chosen hunter. With this knowledge, Yuan unlocks his full potential. With a single blow, he defeats Azura, this time for good. The woman stunned can only watch. In the blink of an eye, Yuan appears behind her, but before he can strike, he must first face his younger brother, Kachan. Still under control, Kachan attacks mercilessly. Yuan only defends. The fight is unbalanced. Yuan refuses to hurt him, but Kachan, unable to stop himself, wounds him badly. He's about to kill him, but with his last shred of willpower, he halts his strike. Tears in his eyes, Kachan begs him, "Kill me! Avenge me! And father." The woman, ready to end them both, uses the five-finger prison, the very same technique their father once used. Before the trap closes, Yuan saves his brother, dragging him out at the last moment. Kachan sacrifices himself to protect him. Now, in another dimension, Kachan hears the voice again. "What is the price of your power?" he asks. But the voice answers with a chilling truth. "That power already belongs to me, as does your soul." The woman celebrates her victory, but as she prepares to leave, the threads snap. Kachan has awakened his true power. Before she can react, he attacks, gravely wounding her. With a single blow, he shatters the spirit that once controlled her, but he also collapses unconscious from the immense power he unleashed. Finally, the Emperor awakens, this time free of all manipulation, and he witnesses the ruin left behind. Days later, a farewell ceremony is held for Prince Tianyu. All mourn the death of the young man, who is buried surrounded by loved ones. From afar, Yuan watches. He survived. He avenged his father, but the price was steep. Far too steep. His mission is not over. The Emperor summons them and tells them their next destination is Mount Zumi in the legendary land of happiness. There, they'll find the answers they seek. After all, that mountain is the cradle of the gods. But the path will be perilous. The demons have corrupted the world. Even the ancient guardians have fallen. Saro explains that there's no direct route to the mountain since the war's end, so the Emperor uses the last of his strength to open a Saint Level transmission gate, demonstrating why he is the wisest immortal of the Eastern continent. Before they depart, he warns them, "Beyond the portal, you can only trust yourselves." And to Zhu, he says, "This gate will always remain open for you, should you ever wish to return." Thus, the heroes set off toward their next destination. Elsewhere, deep within a forest, a little girl finds a bell. When she rings it, she is possessed. Their most hated enemy has not been destroyed. And thus ends the Guardian Legends. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you'd like me to summarize Season 2.